Hi, I'm Gabriel and this is Learning English Path. And in this lesson, I'm going to teach you phrasal verbs with the word back. Phrasal verbs with the word back. All right, I've got 10 phrasal verbs for you today, and they all have this word back in them. And remember, a phrasal verb is when you take a verb and a preposition and you put them together to create a new meaning. So let's take a look at the first one, back out. All right, back out means to withdraw from a commitment. So if you back out of a deal, it means that you made a deal with someone and now you're saying, you know what, actually, I don't want to go through with it. I don't want to have this deal. So that means you committed to it first and then you're backing out of it. You can also back out of a promise. So you promise you're going to do something and then you say, actually, I'm not going to do it. You're backing out. So the example here is, you came all this way to go parachuting. Don't back out now. It's quite a common thing for people to go sign up for these extreme sports like parachuting or bungee jumping, for example, and then say, actually, this looks too dangerous. I don't want to do it, and then back out. And so remember that we can change the tense on phrasal verbs. So we could say backing out or you backed out. Also, we could, for some phrasal verbs, we can split the phrasal verb in the middle so that you put a word or two or three in the middle of the two words that create the phrasal verb. In this case, however, we cannot split this phrasal verb back out. We could say back out of something, but we can't put any word in the middle of back and out. All right, number 2, back up. If you back someone up, that means that you support them or you support another group of people. Now, there are other ways that you can use this phrasal verb, by the way, right? If you back up a car, for example, then it means you're backing, you're going backwards with your car, driving backwards. But in this meaning, we're talking about if someone says, I will help you, I will support you, I will back you up, right? This is a phrasal verb that can be split. I'll back you up. So the example is, if you need someone to confirm the story to the boss, I'll back you up. All right, number 3 is another kind of backup, and that is to save a second copy of something, such as a file. So you could say, I'm going to back up my file. Have you backed that up? What if your computer shuts down, right? So the example is, I need to back up my computer just to be safe. All right, the next one, back down. If you back down from something, you withdraw your position in the face of opposition. So maybe you have an argument and eventually you decide, you know what, I'm just going to let this other person win the argument, have what they want, or you realize that you're wrong, so you say, okay, I was wrong, I'm sorry, I'll back down. So you say, so there's the example is, he was very confident he was right at first, but he backed down when the boss disagreed with him. Next one is back away. This means to retreat. If you back away from something, it means you walk away, you leave more room. So the example here is, please back away from the scene of the crime. right? The police might say that to you if there has been some kind of crime or maybe a car accident, and they don't want a big crowd of people gathering around. They'll say, please back away, right? Please stand back. Another one, come back. You might have heard this. It's very common to say, please come back, right? Please return, all right? So when are you going to come back home? The next one, to cut back. If a company cuts back on its budget, for example, or a company unfortunately might even cut back on its employees. So the definition here is to decrease funding or a budget for something. Also, a family can cut back. So the example here is we're running low on cash, so we're going to have to cut back on our trips away. It means we're going to have to decrease that because we're running low on cash. So we cut back, we decrease. The next one is to look back, and that means to consider the past. So if you look back on something, it means that you are thinking about when you were younger, or maybe thinking about what you could have done differently, right? So it says here, when I look back, I often think about how I could have done things differently. So think about the past. And the next one, to fall back on. If you fall back on something, it means you fall back on a plan B, right? So you didn't want to have to do this, but you fall back on it because plan A didn't work. So the example here is, at least if this interview goes wrong, I can fall back on the other job, right? So it's a backup plan. We can also say a noun is a backup plan, right? So the verb is to fall back on something. And then the last one I have for you is to answer back. If someone answers back, it means that they're asked to do something, but then they reply in a rude way. So, for example, if you remember when you were a kid, maybe your mother or your father asked you to clean your room, and maybe you responded with something like, I don't have to clean my room, or something, right? This is answering back, and so the example sentence here is, don't answer back when I tell you to clean your room. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you click that bell so that you know when I publish a new free lesson here on YouTube. And if you want to learn English with songs, then don't forget to click the link in the description to get my free PDF guide to 101 songs to learn English. I have hundreds of exercises for you to study English, English grammar, English vocabulary, English idioms, practice your English listening, and even your speaking while listening to the very best songs to study English with. All right. And when you get it, then you also get my weekly email with 5 words of the week, where I teach you another 5 words every single week so that you continue to take your English language learning to that next level. All right, my friend, I'm Gabriel Wallace. Keep learning and keep going.